pimps, power, and pretty ladies. This is Black History Month, a 28-day celebration of black exploitation films. I've already talked about two Melvin Van Peebles movies on the Black track, Posse and New Jack City. But not everybody knows that before Mario became a writer and director, his father was a bit of a trailblazer in the writing and directing field himself. I showed Melvin briefly when I talked about the movie Posse. He was Papa Joe. But today, I want to talk about a movie that he wrote and directed himself back in 1971. That movie is Sweetback's Badass Song. With a title like that, you already know that this won't be your normal movie, and that's putting it lightly. Sweetback's Badass Song is about a former orphan named Sweetback. After being chosen to be a pretend criminal so that it can look like the cops arrested somebody for a crime, he ends up beating those same cops half to death after they assault another black male on the way to the jail. Talk about priorities, y'all had one job. Y'all couldn't hold off assaulting a black male for about 15 minutes. Essentially, Sweetback is on the run for their entire movie. Sweetback is also like a porn star or something? Seriously, the movie begins with him as a young boy in a brothel, and if you need any evidence as to why this movie was rated X back in the day, then look no further than the fact that it begins with a sex scene between a minor and a grown woman. The minor is played by a young Melvin Van Peebles himself, but that's burying the lead. Times have definitely changed and people were cool with this scene. Yeah, Mario was like 16 years old, but good lord. Anyway, the woman gives him the name Sweetback, and he takes that and the reputation with him all throughout his life. What does he do for a living, you ask? Why, he works in a sex theater, of course, or whatever you call this. When he gets in trouble and is in danger of being killed by a bunch of bikers, how does he get out of it?
Fucking.
You damn right. Well, actually, that just gets him a place to stay for the night. He's actually rescued by a young John Amos on a motorcycle, but decides to give the ride to a friend since it can only fit one extra person. But usually, sex is how he gets out of every situation. He even has sex with a woman to get his handcuffs removed. I feel like there was an easier way, but he wouldn't be Sweetback if he didn't at least try to have sex first. Also, get this, all of the sex scenes were legit, meaning they actually had sex on set. It's no wonder Melvin ended up with an STD at the end of filming. Don't tell me how dedicated you are to your job unless you're trying to match Melvin Van Peebles' energy. Anyway, since nobody wanted to finance, star in, or barely even show the movie, Melvin borrowed $50,000 from Bill Cosby of all people, shot the movie himself, and starred in it. He even did most of the music, and had the rest performed by a then unknown Earth, Wind & Fire. The cheapness of the movie shows with the shaky and blurry camera angles, the weird cuts, and the editing where it jumps to randomness, or sometimes to something that has absolutely nothing to do with what just happened. It all has a surreal nature to it, and in a weird way, kind of adds to the charm. Melvin said that the blurry and double exposed shots were supposed to represent the emotional state of Sweetback, and I guess if you keep that in mind going in, it kind of makes sense. But it's best not to think too hard on what's going on. The story isn't something that should be the focus. It's mostly just Sweetback running halfway across the country to avoid the cops. Damn, I sure should have taken that ride from James Evans. These dress shoes killing me. He barely even speaks, which is the reason that most of the actors who were chosen for the role turned it down. He may say 7 words at the most. My favorite parts of the movie is all the people Sweetback goes to for help. Nobody is willing to get involved. The porn theater manager literally takes a dump on the idea of helping Sweetback.
Yeah, baby.
He goes to a preacher who you would think would be willing to help, but not at the expense of his upstairs sex slaves business being discovered. Who are these people? With all this randomness, you would think that the movie wouldn't have been well received, but Sweetback's Badass Song received generally favorable reviews, especially among the black community, and made the equivalent of around $100 million today. The success of the movie essentially influenced and led to the creation of the black exploitation genre, because studios now realize that cheaply made movies highlighting certain aspects of black culture was financially viable. That alone put Sweetback's Badass Song in a category of its own among black films. There was a remake of sorts in 2004, but it was actually a biopic called Badass, starring Melvin Van Peebles playing his father. The movie is about the making of Sweetback's Badass Song, and was very critically acclaimed, even though it didn't do as well financially. Check out Sweetback's Badass Song, but only if you go into it with an open mind and realize that it's not going to be a masterpiece. Just think of it as one of the godfathers of the blaxploitation era.